What can be said about the specifics of the job? Basically, the work always takes place, so to speak, in close proximity to the enemy. Whether you want it or not, you have to, so to speak, sacrifice your own safety for this. The work is intense, meaning you're constantly in a state of combat readiness. Roughly speaking, you always need to keep a clear head.
Were you a drone operator from the start or learn on the job?
No, well, I was more of a hobbyist, you could say, like those who do it as a hobby, but not very serious. But yes, I've gone through a lot of training. And combat experience too. You can't do without that.
What are the most difficult and challenging targets?
I think vehicles. Why vehicles? Because they're constantly on the move. So it's not even that it's a difficult target, it's that a combination of factors is needed to effectively hit it. That means it's not just up to the pilot, but to the whole crew. It's also about coordination with other units. And then it all goes smoothly. If everything comes together, job gets done, and it's done well, perfectly even.
How incredibly active is the enemy usually in this particular situation?
That's definitely a factor. Sometimes the enemy is quite active in general, and if, let's say, they're getting support, even from their own air cover, then to put it mildly, things get pretty intense. So sometimes you end up working under constant tension.
What is it harder? To collect munitions?
Under the dugouts, because often our enemy digs good dugouts and you don't understand how it's located there. One thing on top, another inside.
How old are you?
27.
Oh, probably.
Contract worker.
So you?
Yes. In the army since 2017.
Are you an engineer from the start or did you learn everything?
I studied. I learned everything. I studied at a school in the city of Luhansk. And I also studied on my own. And I studied as a civilian. This is my second contract. I served my first contract in the artillery. And that's where it all started. I began to study on my own. How? What? Because I prepared for this for a long time. When the specialization began, that's when I started preparing. I saw on the same news how children are sitting in basements. I made the decision to get up and go. I have many comrades who died here, even from my first contract. As I say again, no one but us. Why an engineer? Here you can let your imagination run wild. That is, whatever you make, that's what flies. And often, these are different targets. Here you can let your imagination run wild. That's it.
Do you have a favorite type of ammunition?
Yes. The incendiary, and the second one is the shape charge, PG7L, PG7S.
Why did I go? Because I wanted my family to be proud of me back home. I wanted to fight for our future, like our grandfathers did, to put an end to this fascism, and to help the guys so we could all come home together.
How did your parents actually take it?
At first, no one knew anything. I said I was going to St. Petersburg for work. I told them a month later. I called my father. Dad, I'm at war. I'll help until the end. I went from being a loader to a combat vehicle commander, and then became deputy platoon commander. The work became independent with my own crew. That's it. After some time, I gained experience. Our team became well coordinated. We all know each other. We understand each other without words now. That's how we work. Back then, there were far fewer unmanned aerial vehicles. There were more artillery shellings, but now the main threat for us is drones, kamikaze drones. Well, over time, we also gained a lot of experience, started setting up more posts, and increased our air surveillance. The bullets also help us a lot, the detectors that monitor all of this, and those FPV monitors. That's it, that's how we work. Our girl over there knows her job, and we still help out a lot. We get a lot of gratitude when people see that we help both in the offensive and in the counteroffensive, as well as when we repel enemy attack.
Does she have a name? You just call her the girl. What's your general attitude toward the vehicle?
My first vehicle.
Do you say it is something alive or is it just a hunk of metal to you?
No, it's something alive to me. We've bonded so much that she's like one of our own now. My first vehicle was called Katusha, and this one is like Katusha's grandson.
Are there any favorite targets that you especially enjoy destroying?
The result is my favorite target. That's how it is, really. Because the results, well, why? Without the result, even any target would, to put it mildly, be unpleasant for you. If there is a result, then any target is indeed a good target. Our work is very precise, targeted work that, well, brings results in any case.
Well, the plane has turned into this kind of aerial
A perfectly round sphere.
sphere. FPV at the moment is one of the means of firepower, and it's used much more and more often than say artillery or small arms firepower. And this is a field that continues to change and progress very quickly and intensively.
What did you have to adapt to upon returning?
First of all, you have to adapt to reacting to an incoming FPV, to the sound of anti-drone devices, to electronic warfare, to all the equipment that might be used, and to the fact that the enemy, just like us, really is constantly changing frequencies. So it's a constant process of adaptation. You can't just say, I arrived, a month passed, I got used to it, and that's it. You always have to stay alert no matter what the weather conditions are. It's moving towards the creation of a new branch of the military and unmanned one. It will definitely exist. In fact, it's already starting to take shape. We are constantly trying to come up with something new. Everything that gets implemented goes through combat testing. That's exactly how it is. It all comes to life right near the front line, because even a robotic platform, for example, goes through a certain process. You immediately weigh the pros and cons for yourself, discuss it right there with the engineers, sappers and pilots. How can it be improved? And what if we did it differently? Right then, the idea comes up, let's try it another way, and we immediately put it into practice. Here's a robotic platform that will soon be used as a kamikaze platform to breach enemy strong points. It can drive right on top of a strong point and use a shaped charge jet to simply break it open. That's because the enemy has dug in and is using embankments, possibly even concrete structures, so it's necessary to create conditions where they have nowhere to hide. This platform is designed specifically to deliver munitions inside, into the enemy's shelter.
In the fall of 22, I suffered a serious injury on the Kherson front. Because of that, I was bedridden for a long time. They had to reconstruct my knee in various hospitals. So in 23, I was declared unfit for military service. But since I didn't feel I had the right to just stand aside, I made the decision to come here anyway and continue to the best of my abilities to help our guys. The main requests from the front right now are for ground-based robotic systems. In reality, what's happening now is that we look at what Ukrainian armed forces are doing, we look at what the Chinese are doing, we look at what some European arms companies are doing or trying to do, and we try to implement those principles ourselves. We do this directly at the training ground and immediately hand it over to the troops. Of course, this is quite difficult, but we will keep doing it, we are trying. And this is the Ukrainian Leleka, our comrades brought it to us. It's almost undamaged. At the moment, it is also undergoing reverse engineering. And in the near future, it will also be carrying out missions in our interests. This is the actual launcher, yes, of the Coronet, which is our base model. And right now, it is in the process of being modified. That is, we are taking out of production and preparing the technical documentation. This will include blueprints and schematic electrical diagram. In other words, everything that can be handed over to any enterprise from manufacturing. The control is fully remote. That is not only the control of the card itself, but also the launch control and the missile control. Right now, we are actively developing systems for destroying enemy positions. These are the same kamikaze cards, right? The control principle is practically the same. The foundation is fiber optics, to ensure independence from enemy electronic warfare. This is one of our kamikaze options. The second option is now almost ready for testing. Here it is directly. Everything is made by ourselves. At the moment, for example, we print the mounts for the spool and all the housings on a 3D printer, and the body is welded. But we are currently refining it a bit, improving the control system. I think this should make a difference. And here we also have an interesting option. This one is specifically for assault units. We're working on it right now. It's also small. It's made entirely on a lathe and the milling machine, the body. The internal components themselves are actually inexpensive. We're working with various radio channels and different types of special communications that our developers are currently using in the Special Operations Zone. So our cast is Kamikaze 1 Sare, designed for different tasks. For example, there's one model currently in development that's meant for long-range missions, meaning over 10 kilometers. And there's one specifically for assault units. It's small, lightweight. Its total weight is 5 to 6 kilograms. Its purpose is to carry out missions within a range of 2 to 3 kilometers. Also, at the moment, we are in the process of reverse engineering. Some scientist friends of ours are helping us with this. We're preparing technical documentation for another ground-based system, but this one is much larger. Its payload capacity is currently stated to be around 150 to 200 kilograms. In about a month, we'll have it in our hands when we'll start testing it. Because during testing, there's always a need to make some adjustments, since it's a dynamic creative process, you could say. So as soon as we have the results, we'll immediately send it out to carry out a combat mission.